Hey everybody, we are in the middle of a wicked heat wave here in Ontario, and we are getting ready for a big adventure coming up here in a couple of days. And I wanted to introduce you to our new travel companion. Meet Geo. This is the 15-foot Geo Pro by Rockwood, and this is our new travel companion. Although our preferred mode of transport is Myrtle, and same with the dogs. As you can see, they're in and they think they're going somewhere. This is a special trip this year. We were invited by friends of ours, Mike and Lacey, who you may remember, but you'll meet again here in a couple of days. Way back in the fall, we were on a camping trip, and Brian and I were talking about the fact that it's his 50th birthday year. It's our 25th wedding anniversary this coming fall, and how we wanted to do something kind of to celebrate, because we're not big in celebrating birthdays and stuff like that, or anniversaries for that matter, but we were thinking about doing something, and they had already planned or were thinking about planning a trip to Labrador, Newfoundland, and they asked us if we wanted to tag along. And to be honest, I wasn't really sure that they were serious when they invited us. So we gave it a couple weeks and checked back and said, like, were you guys serious? And they said, yeah. And so one thing about Myrtle that you may know is that she goes nowhere fast. So top speed is usually 90, maybe 100 kilometers. And she's not really great for traveling with other people because she's pretty slow, prone to breakdowns. Not to say we won't break down, but it's possible. Anyways, so we needed to upgrade our travel vehicle. And so we bought this 2022 Geo Pro used from this wonderful gent up in, I believe he lives in Timmins. And so I just wanted to give you a little tour here tonight. It is kind of emotional for me because Myrtle has been our trusty companion and tour bus, for lack of a better term, for some really special trips. Brian and my dad went out to BC in 2016. Brian and I went to Newfoundland in 2019. And then in 2023, we took her back to BC. So she's been around the town. And so it's kind of sad to be leaving her behind. Oh, look at this. Hey, big girl. You're so cute. Yeah, you're right at home, aren't you? Is Tilly in the back? So these girls know Myrtle. They are super comfortable. They love going for rides. They never miss an opportunity when the door slides open. So we all kind of have a sore heart that we will be leaving Myrtle behind for this big adventure, but are also equally excited to be taking the Geo. Tilly is not sold. I'm going to be honest. She doesn't like to go inside. She's been in once or twice, but not totally sold yet. It's okay. It'll happen when she has no other option. But yeah, so I just wanted to give you a quick tour. It's not a big camper at all. It's basically just the necessities, not a lot of room to spread out or to lounge, but it should be okay. Like, we're used to living in that, which has no toilet, no shower, no heat, no air conditioning, no refrigerator. It does have a sink, but it's not hooked up. So none of the luxuries that the Geo does. And to be honest, some of the stuff in here, we don't even really know how to use just yet, but we're hoping that we're going to kind of learn along the way. So we are, the first leg of our journey is up the Trans-Labrador highway up into Labrador City, which we are super excited about. So we will be towing this with our 2015 Toyota Tacoma, and it just got the air conditioning fixed, new brakes all around. Brian's doing a service in the shop tonight just to double check, because it's a road that has a lot of road, but not a lot of stopping or services along the way. And so you have to be prepared, hence the fuel cans. We have a couple of extra fuel cans that we're going to be bringing with us. We are also bringing a generator just in case we need power or we end up in an area where we don't have power where we need it. But to be honest, we can be pretty self-sufficient without power. So yeah, without further ado, let's pop inside and see what's shaken. So luckily it's cooled down, and so it's not too stoking hot. So I'm just gonna leave this open, and I'll actually walk through some of the modifications. Full disclosure, I was pretty overwhelmed by the process of transitioning to a trailer like this because it is like a tiny little house, and you have to learn how to use everything and turn everything on, and there's proper steps. And so we watched hours and hours of YouTube videos just to make sure kind of we knew how to use everything, or at least the basics. And we're still setting stuff up in here. Okay, let me see if I remember how to turn the lights on. Step 1, turn on lights. When you come in to the trailer, you have at the front no windows, but we have this kind of cargo net area with a shelf up here. Obviously, you can't put a lot of stuff up here that is able to kind of like fall out as you drive. That is one thing that happens when you drive. Like, you have to make sure everything's secure. Then we have a 3-burner propane stove, and we have 2 propane tanks on the front, on the tongue of the trailer. And then this beautiful big sink, which I feel like is a luxury with a dish drying rack. We do have a water heater, so we have hot water. One thing I have already added is this little, I used Velcro and stuck it to the countertop for dish soap, scrubbies, and our toothbrushes, so that we can kind of use this sink for that. There is a microwave. I can't see us using that, but you never know. You definitely have to have you have to be hooked up to power or have the generator running to use the microwave. There's a little like scrubby drawer, and then just below the sink, and I hardly have anything packed right now, but I bought a little shelf, and then we have a few, like a frying pan, a pot, and a coffee perk. Then there's a little drawer here, and this is where I have our dishes, and then another little drawer, and this is where I have all of our like cooking tools. This is kind of fun. This is our shower and toilet combo. Let me turn the light on here for you. So my shower cap is here because I've already had a shower just to test. So this does double, so you can go to the bathroom or have a shower, and it's actually very comfortable. The water gets nice and hot, which is wicked. And then there's this back cubby here that that closes and is like not waterproof, but hopefully watertight. And I did add this shelving rack here. So that is our shower system. And there's a little latch here for when you drive so that the door doesn't pop open. I also added this screw-on paper towel holder. We don't use a lot of paper towels, but you know, it's handy when you're camping. I added these 2 hooks. So because we have dogs and wet jackets and things like that, we probably need more hooks, but I have a couple more, but I just started with these 2. I'm sure they will be full. We have a really nice size, and this was a nice surprise, refrigerator and freezer. So, oh good, it's getting cold. I'm actually just testing this tonight. Ooh, that's getting chilly in there. So it's a nice size. Like, there's a lot of storage room in here. So we will have plenty of cold storage for food and things like that, which is great. 2 large drawers, which have junk in them right now, but I'm sure we'll get that cleaned out and packed up. So 2 drawers there. And then on this side, we have a TV. Like, don't plan on using that, but kind of neat to have. A radio, so indoor, outdoor, it hooks up to our phone so we can have Bluetooth. Pretty cool. And then this is a stack of drawers here, and then down here is the heater. that runs on propane, which is cool. And then what you're not going to see in here tonight is a table, and probably never going to see it unless we're in a monsoon or something like that, because it's more important for us to have a bed than it is to have a table. We are bringing a screen dining tent because I know the bugs are going to be very bad. So we brought a screen dining tent and another kind of screen tarp structure that we actually take interior camping with us. So we've brought that as well. But the reason, or the big selling point for us for this particular unit, was this king size bed. So under here, you can convert this to a dining table, which is not difficult. I've done it, so I know that it can be done, but I don't foresee us doing that very often. So the king size bed will sleep Brian, myself, and definitely Tulip. Tilly tends not to sleep on the bed with us, but there is ample floor space here, so we're going to bring a dog bed, probably stick it under there with some of our totes where we're going to store things in, and then pull it out at night when we go to sleep. Here is the air conditioner, which we have tested, and it works, which is great. And then we have all of these upper cubbies. So we have this whole slew of upper cubbies, and then those two back cargo net areas where I plan on storing extra bedding and things like that, because laundry for the first little bit is probably not going to be very accessible, which is fine. All of the windows are tilt out, and they are dark, so you can't see in from outside, which is really nice. And then all of the windows have these roll down slow rise shades if it's really sunny. But one of the things that we have been keeping an eye on regularly is the weather. So when you're traveling with dogs, and one of the biggest challenges that we had when we went to BC in 2023 was the heat. In Myrtle, no air. And when we went through Osoyoos and Kamloops, it was probably around 40 degrees, and the dogs did experience some heat stress, as did we. It was super hot. And so we stopped and swam a lot and stuff like that. And we were all fine. But Brian and I both at that same time were like, this, like, it's not enjoyable. It was very hot. And so for this trip, even though we knew that we would be going to the East Coast, and we'd been there before and it was cold, and I remember thinking, oh my gosh, Myrtle doesn't have heat. We wanted to make sure that we had both heat and air, so that if we wanted to, we could leave the trailer or drop the trailer and take the truck. Brian and I could take the truck and leave the dogs, not all day, but for short excursions and things like that, so they would be comfortable. It's really important to us when we travel with our pets that they are comfortable at all times. And so having the king size bed, if we leave them at any point, we can lock up the trailer, let them kind of hang out on the king size bed with the air, the heater, whatever they need on. And that is something to consider when you travel with your animals, especially for a long period of time. You have to bring first aid, food, any kind of medication, that they always have access to water, all of those things. And so not only are you packing and preparing for yourself, but you're also packing and preparing for your pets. So that was the other big reason why we bought this newer trailer, was the need for air conditioning and the need for heat. All these other fancy things are just a bonus. This trailer also has a solar panel on the roof, and I believe, this is how much I don't know, that's what this thing is the solar panel. I don't know what it's called. Inverter? Okay, well, I'll put it on the screen right here once I figure out what it is. Some of the other things we've added, though, just quick. So I did watch a lot of RV YouTube channels, because I wasn't sure, like, this is all so new to us, especially a lot of this fancy stuff. So one of the channels, the woman did like I'll see if I can find it and link it in the description box below, but did like the top 25 hacks. So the basket caddy in the bathroom was one of them. The other one are these little Velcro cargo net things. So this is just stuck on, and this is Velcro for things like books, the remote, and stuff like that. So I have 2 of those. The 2 other things that we added are this kind of bar that protects the door, because the door is kind of, oh, here comes my maintenance man right now with the spare tire. That's the trailer tire. But we added this bar here. I added this little door handle here, just because this thing was kind of difficult to open and close. So I added that, and these were Amazon purchases, but this one for sure is definitely a great purchase. Highly recommend. So when you come into the camper, there are a bunch of different controls. So your water pump, your gas water heater, your electric water heater, and then this is the water tank heater, just in case you're somewhere where it's cold, so that the actual fresh water tank doesn't freeze. This is the awning control, and the awning's really cool. It's a nice addition to kind of van life or trailer life, especially if it's really sunny. You have to be careful because of weather, but this is a nice addition. And then a bunch of lights outside. So anyway, she's pretty fancy for Brian and I. So one of the other additions that we made is actually to the bed. So the bed, this is the table that pops up, but the bed is actually just your couch cushions or your bench cushions. But we did purchase one of these memory foam, these gel foam or whatever they are, mattresses from Costco, and it is super cushy. So it's going to be a very nice sleep, I think. Maybe I'll show you a couple of things on the outside that are kind of interesting. One of the other things that we learned when we purchased this was that we've towed a lot of trailers in our time, chippers and just trailers in general. But when you tow an RV, there is a special hitch that has these sway bars that helps distribute the load and helps for trailer control. And so Brian was able to find a Husky hitch on Marketplace for a really good deal. And so on the weekend, we watched a bunch of videos, of course, to learn, and then installed that, which was an ordeal. I'll clip that in here because... Okay, so we are at our local Foodland, and we are here because yesterday we tried to install the sway bars or the torsion control system hitch thing, and our driveway was not level enough, so we've come early this morning. It's supposed to be super hot today, but we've come early this morning to a paved surface so that we can hopefully successfully install these things. We've done it a couple times now, so it should be fairly quick, but super funny. Not gonna lie, that was way harder than we thought it was gonna be. We had to make a ton of adjustments, but we got her now. Everybody's level and loaded correctly.
Just to help you, now we're good. You know exactly.
Now you're a professional. Like, Brian has done a ton of work in preparing for this trip, in maintenance, in just checking everything. So he took off the spare tire, checked tire pressure, and is now just lubricating everything under the trailer. But yeah, it does require a lot of effort. And to be honest, I wasn't prepared for the amount of work that was involved in RVing. That is the truth. So it has taken us a lot of time to kind of get the trailer up and ready to go. But now that we're there and we know, I'm sure it will be easier in the future. We got a power jack stand that we cover with a bucket. So the bucket serves to protect this from the weather, but also in case you need a bucket for anything. In here, there are 2 full propane tanks that you have to make sure are turned off when you are driving. And then we have 2 batteries, and those are charged as we drive, but also by the solar panel on the roof if it's sunny. So that's really nice. And then there's these jack stands, 2 on the front and 2 on the back. And this is where bringing a driver, like a impact driver is really great instead of doing this all by hand. So as you saw, Brian needed it to take off the spare tire, but it's also for this. So you need to bring your charger plus your drill and then all of the connections that you need. This is the black water and gray water outlet. That's for number 1s and 2s, and then gray water from your sinks. Again, something totally new to us, lots of videos watched. One of the things we did buy is the Rhino hose for number 1s and number 2s. And so that was something that we had to learn. This here is an outdoor shower, which is kind of cool. So I think it'll come in handy with the dogs. If the dogs are dirty or need to get hosed off, this will be good because we can do that. And then towel them dry and then let them into the trailer. But when you travel with dogs in a trailer, especially these bozos, it's going to get dirty in there, and that's just, we're used to it. Like, we're used to traveling with them. I mean, we did it in Myrtle, and that's the thing, right? So, like, we know we can do it in this vehicle. Power, this is the city water connection. So when you get to the campsite, if it's got a water hookup, this is where you hook up the water. And then this is the freshwater tank. So this is where you add water to, like, the water holding tank in the unit. And then behind here is your water heater. So there's lots of things that you kind of have to be aware of. The nice thing with this trailer is there is a lot of storage. So there is 2 kind of cubbies, and you can see they are very spacious, which is good because you have a lot of parts and things that need to get stored that you're going to use regularly, like your power cords, you know, all the odds and sods, tools, lubricants. That's Brian's department, but still we need it. And then another little cubby over here. And what's cool is this unit comes with, I don't know if you can see it here, but hopefully we'll have a video with it, this griddle. So it's a flat top griddle, and it hooks to a gas, the natural gas, the propane connection is out here. And then there's it goes on a rack that sits right here. And so you can actually cook outside, which is really nice. So I think actually that we are going to do the majority of our cooking, you know, if it's a big meal that requires a lot of heat and whatever, out here on the griddle. We'll see. You know what? I have no idea. I just wanted to give you a tour, and kind of compare and contrast, you know, old, literally 1977 versus new 2022. And yeah, like, we're starting to get pretty excited. We've just been really, really busy, doing things around the house, getting ready to go. We have a house sitter and a farm sitter, so that's really exciting. I know they're going to have a good time, but now that we're this close, we are getting pretty excited. As far as packing goes, we are not packed. So, but that's typical for us. We usually kind of have a staging area just inside the door where we kind of pull up stuff and kind of drop. It's like a drop zone. And then we have a checklist. And as that stuff comes out and goes into the truck or the trailer, then we'll check it off. And that's the other cool thing about this trip is we've always been very, good at packing. Like when we go interior camping for, you know, the longest we've ever been in is 13 days. We carry everything in 2 packs, right? And maybe a small accessory pack. So we know we don't need a lot, but it's a luxury when you have more space. So we have this thing, And we also have the back of the truck, so with the cap. So we have a lot of space to kind of spread out and organize things. Because we're going for so long, we need to bring a big volume of dog food, so that'll take up some space. We can bring all of our outdoor gear. We shouldn't be short on space. But come along with us on our adventure. It is, I'm sure, going to be a great time. We're very excited about driving the Trans-Labrador highway. It's something that we've wanted to do for a while, and so this is the perfect opportunity to do it with really good friends, and kind of to support one another if anything does go wrong. So yeah, come on along. We're looking forward to the adventure. Thanks for watching. Have a great day, and we'll see you next time.